with that, we're going to do something unusual. Here's a heart from YouTube that has shown up here as well. So we're going to do something unusual for this show. Every month we are now doing something for the New York Times for Kids Read Along. So we're going to say bye to John. Thank you, John.
Thanks, everybody.
And
Much appreciated.
I'm going to set up Neil for the New York Times for Kids. So this is the New York Times for Kids. It's a 10-page insert once a month in the New York Times print publication, and it's available only in print, but it is available till noon Eastern today, November 24th, on our website. So go to digimentors.group, look for the New York Times read along button, look for the John Lee episode, and till noon Eastern, you can download this PDF, send it to everyone in your school, send it to all your friends, get this out there. It's a very special opportunity, available as a global exclusive on the New York Times Read Along, thanks to our friends at the New York Times, including the editors of the New York Times for Kids, as well as so many other cool people who work there. And I'm going to say goodbye, get on with my Sunday, but Neil's going to do this for another 15 minutes or so. So if you have friends with kids, tell them to join us.
That's great. Sree, we lost your audio for a second. You muted yourself at the end. So we'll go ahead and switch over. And there is the Neil's New York Times cam as opposed to Sree's. Excuse me. So this is a special on the New York Times for Kids. You can get the PDF from our website. If you go to digimentors.group, New York Times read along, you'll see John's show. If you click on that, you will find the PDF. Again, you can only get it until noon Eastern time today. So the front page is stay in, curl up, chill out. And they always say the editors note this section should not be read by kids, by grown-ups actually. But this is great advice. I would love to stay in, curl up, and chill out. It's the best books, movies, TV, and music for all your holiday moods. Suit up with school mascots when climate change comes for your town. The election's over. Now what? If that's not good for grown-ups, I don't know what is. The legal battle of squish or scoosh and how it works. A cranberry bog. So let's take a look at what they have inside. So first they have the hungriest holiday, how New York Times cooking counts down to the hungriest holiday. So that's a interesting piece here. And I actually think, I always like the design decisions that are made. To go white font on black is interesting. But people have dark mode on their phones. I've never seen dark mode in the print edition. But they have 4 months before start planning the menu, 3 months before putting recipes to the test, 2 months before lights, camera, yum, interesting, and 1 month from our kitchen to yours, 1 month before, and then go time, the big day arrives. That's the New York Times cooking group. Here's a piece, election night in the newsroom. And this is, they had an article in the main paper about, a photography piece looking at election night in the newsroom that we reviewed when Amy Kelsey was our guest. So it's interesting to see this in the New York Times for Kids. Their national article, Safer Ground in Alaska, climate change has forced a village to relocate. I know that for kids, climate change is actually a huge priority. When I say kids, really 9 through 13 is the age group for the New York Times for Kids. And it definitely, it's good to see them focusing on that. Here's the article I was talking about. I think we all need to read, not just kids. The election results are in. Here's what comes next. And the caption is Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, after their victory. And here's a tiny story in the corner. The number of presidents in U.S. history who have been elected to serve 2 non-consecutive, meaning not in a row, terms. The first was Grover Cleveland, who served from 1885 to 1889. And again, from 1893 to 1897, and now Donald Trump. This is the centerfold for the New York Times for Kids, which we're going to go up just a little bit to see if you can get the full view. And then let's get cozy. 15 recommendations to listen to, read, and watch to get you through the holidays. So you start here. What's your vibe? And the font is really actually small, even for me. Kind of hard to read here. But if you're annoyed, you kind of go in one direction. If you're chill, you can go that way. Happy. And it ends up in several. Listen to Lovesick by Laufey, I think that is. Read Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. Here's read A Strange Thing Happened in Cherry Hall. And Good Luck Babe. So I have all these interesting, this is Good Luck Babe, listened to by Chapel Roan. I mentioned earlier that my daughter Emily is a Swiftie. She was actually in Toronto to see a concert, the Eras Tour, last weekend. But Chapel Roan is another favorite of hers as well. So it's interesting to see Chapel Roan listed there. Let's see what else we have. Squishmallows. Anyone have Squishmallows? Kids who have Squishmallows. I know that Emily does. And what makes a Squishmallow? Parents may be interested in understanding what that difference is. Here's an article: take a quiz, go to recess, pay the rent. That's an interesting take. Not sure if they're talking about kids paying rent. It's an interesting take. Here's a sports article: the sweaty, fuzzy, fantastically funny world of school mascots. And you have showing different school mascots. Gusto the Gale, and Reggie the Raider, and Buster the Bulldog, among others. And again, the New York Times for Kids is a special print-only special section. It's available the last Sunday of the month, and through an exclusive arrangement with the New York Times, the PDF is available on our website, digimentors.group/NYTReadalong, and you can download it from our website until noon Eastern time. So definitely get it and share it with anyone, any young people in your life. This article is a bobbing, bumping, beautiful sea of cranberries, all about cranberry bogs. Grow them, flood them, knock them off, let them rise, bake them in. And here's what's on my family's Thanksgiving table. Latin flavors, in with the new, turkey dinner, hold a turkey, and spirit plates and candy bars. Now, I particularly like this opinion section. We do want to encourage our young viewers to speak their mind, and the New York Times facilitates that. We have opinions from across the board. Nafisa Sharif: I think hospitals should lower their prices. Patients cannot afford the treatments that they need to feel better. This is causing people to die because they do not have the money to pay. Hospitals can give a large discount to people who are struggling. Then people who are sick will be able to live longer lives. Absolutely. And here's another one. And Nafisa was 9. Ibrahim Altam, 9. We should have more field trips at school. Last year, we only went on one field trip. We went to an apple orchard, and it was kind of boring. I want to go to Midway Sports and Entertainment, where they have mini golf and trampolines. I will say, I think field trips are an important part of school. I went on several. We did larger field trips. Being in New York, I know that we went to the museums in New York City, but we also did overnight trips to Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., of course. But I know it's a little more challenging for kids now. I know my sister-in-law is a 5th grade teacher. I think they do fewer field trips because of liability issues, particularly with cell phones. They can't control where kids are and who they might be meeting when they go to another city. Eve is saying this is a great opportunity to start reading a newspaper for kids. Get them started young is what I say. And particularly if they start reading what their peers are saying, they might be more interested in the news and thinking about their own opinions. I'd love to encourage people to start thinking about this. Looking at this page, all of the opinions here are from almost all 9-year-olds, some 10-year-olds as well. It's always good to encourage kids to speak their mind. And thank you, Eve, for watching. And we're hoping, my mom is asking, do we have children as an audience? Hopefully, if we start doing this, we only started doing this the 2nd time. We've done a special focus on New York Times for Kids. Hopefully, folks will start tuning in at 10 a.m., get their kids to watch. I know Pradnya has young kids that are about this age. They might be interested. And Diana Rahini watches from California, usually live, but it's early for the West Coast, but maybe they'll watch the replay and or get the PDF. Again, the New York Times for Kids is a special print-only section. It's available on our website until noon Eastern time today. So I certainly encourage you to download it. The cover, stay in, curl up, chill out, all about what to do over the Thanksgiving holiday. So definitely appreciate everyone joining today. And with that, we are going to bring this episode of the New York Times Read Along to a close. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us. It's always a pleasure to have you. And we will just give you a quick reminder as I come back on screen that we are live every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and our Digimentors website. We appreciate everyone watching and look forward to having you join us in a few weeks. And seeing a comment on this, I'm not sure. Anupam is saying I wrote a piece on Azerbaijan on the fatter than an Indian wedding, the Conference of Parties on COP. So interesting. And Eve, thank you again for saying thank you. We appreciate that. As a reminder, next week we don't have a show because of Thanksgiving, but we will be joining, Sarah Barr will be joining us December 8th. She's on the flexible editing desk at the New York Times, writes about arts, culture, and is part of the Times Insider team at the New York Times. So we look forward to having her join us. Thank you again. It's been a great, great show. Amy wishes everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And Patricia wishes everyone a happy holidays as well. Thank you. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.